ready.
Good morning.
Hi, so nice to meet with you
nice
today.
To meet with you as well.
Welcome to the SkyNeedle. We're so happy to have you here today.
Congratulations on the not so recent opening of your building.
We're
excited.
It's really wonderful. We've got some tenants in here. They're really happy, and we're excited to hear about what we could do for you today.
Well, I'm excited to be here. So I'm wondering if you can just tell me a little bit about the spaces that you're offering. I understand you're really trying to appeal to, smaller up-and-coming businesses, and getting some big names would obviously help as well. But just I think that's great that that's kind of the market that you're looking for. I think it's very interesting that you have these smaller spaces, and even for a big business, it can make them force their employees to be more collaborative, having to work closer together. So we're just wondering if you could tell us what your options are in terms of what kind of tenants you have and what kind of space you provide and services, things like that.
Absolutely. Here at SkyNeedle, we have a really unique building in that we have a long, thin structure with a smaller floor, ideal for a mid-sized firm like McCormick Flair. So 75 stories, we've got 14,000 square feet on each floor. We do, lucky for you, you're coming in at a really good time. We are partially full and we're filling up fast, but we look for the right clientele because part of being in this building is prestige. We have a lot of amenities. We cater to a mid-size, but a very special type of mid-size company, the kind of company that's going to reflect excellence. And we believe that doing the decoration, doing the signage, doing every fine detail, that's one of the reasons why we got such wonderful Japanese investors. We have this beautiful design, I think they've been talking about doing some sort of an architectural write-up for this inverted triangle design that we've got on the building.
Well, it's very beautiful. I'm sure the architecture tour is going to love it when they come by on the boat and they can point out the SkyNeedle. That's wonderful.
And what a great way to impress your clients when they come, because you're an advertising agency and your job is to impress people and show them everything that you can do. So what better way than to bring them into a full amenity building, and we can offer something like that in a way that another building wouldn't be able to do.
And can we've been looking for a building that can offer us those amenities. We obviously have the McCormick name, and Chicago is very important, and we'd like to keep that standard, which is why we're looking at your building as one of our options. Can you tell me what kind of amenities you offer for your clients? And if you could also talk about the Eye of the Needle Club as well. I know that, some of our executives have been looking into the club. We can start with the amenities if that's simpler.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. I would be more than happy to go over that with you. We do have multiple options we would be able to provide to you. We're very proud of our club space. Have you been there to the SkyNeedle Club?
No, we have not yet had a chance.
Well, we'll definitely take a trip and, give you a little showing. We do have multiple things. One of the things that we have to offer, we do have spaces, parking spaces for your executives available for $2,400 a piece. That is an annual fee, so that's actually very good.
And this is for tenants or for club members?
This is actually the parking lot that we're talking about. Just going over the various different amenities, including the club, of course. Sorry, you wanted to start with the club.
Okay.
We also would be able to talk about membership depending on, what your leasing situation would be. The normal initiation fee per member at the Eye of the Needle Club is $5,000. The annual membership, then it would be $2,500. This is run by my company, Big Land. And we would be able to maybe come to an agreement regarding membership if this is something that interests you. And also we could talk about the length of the lease with regard to that as well. That would be a factor in what we would be able to offer you with regard to the club membership. We also do offer full concierge services.
All right.
So this is another amenity that you're not going to find in some of the smaller buildings. Usually, only larger buildings have things like a club and a concierge. So it's nice that we can offer that and give the mid-size feel, but with the large size amenities available to you. I mentioned the parking. We also one thing that we could talk about is the available marketing, in addition to the wonderful free marketing of just being an innovative new building that's in the eye of the town,
Of course,
the eye of the
yes.
needle and the eye of the town.
Yes, perfect.
We also can potentially talk about putting up a sign in the lobby, as you may have seen when you came in. Some of our key clients, we have put up really nice signage in their name, so that's something that we could talk about as part of your lease terms.
And your concierge, is part of the club membership, or that is a part of
The
being a
concierge
tenant
is
in
just
the
part of
building?
being a tenant in the building.
Okay.
So that comes at no extra charge to you. Obviously, we have a full staff. It provides an additional security to you, as well as an extra level of prestige. So it protects your business, whatever trade secrets you might have, whatever clients you have. We do keep the premises very safe, and also offer that as an amenity, since it looks nicer for all of us to have that. And could you maybe tell me a little bit about, what specifically you're most interested in, what drew you to the building, how we can make this your dream building?
Well, of course, we're definitely drawn to the prestige of the building. We want something that's impressive for our clients and a place that they enjoy being. And of course, the smaller feel, for a firm that we're just going out on our own and starting, it's nice to have our own space, and it would be wonderful to have our own floor where employees can all work together. We're smaller right now. We don't have as big of a support staff, but we do envision getting bigger in the next few years. We would ultimately like to have an option to expand, just because we, at the current moment, of course, don't have as many people working for us. But
how many employees do you have, if you don't mind my asking?
Currently, we have 10 employees.
10 employees, okay.
And some of those are the higher level executives.
Okay.
And then we just our support staff. And most of our support staff actually does take the train. So I think parking would be something that we may look at as an option.
Maybe
for
an executive.
clients or an executive
Sure.
kind of thing. Yes. And so right now, at a minimum, we need 12,000 feet, just 12,000 square feet. I know we can hold off on maybe talking about exactly numbers for a minute, but
it sounds like, and we'll come back to this, of course, later,
yes.
and I want to hear about all your needs and wants and, how we can, discuss those further. But we do have a single floor that would be about perfect for your size.
All right, well, that's great. We're really interested in, I think some of our senior officers and the partners would be really interested in joining the Eye of the Needle Club.
Mm-hmm.
Just it'd be a wonderful place to take clients. It's easier, of course, than we could just take them out to a restaurant, but it'd be nice to have the
And it's
convenience
so
in the same
convenient.
building.
There's only so many hours in the day. You want to
Exactly.
preserve some of those. Look, work-life balance.
Exactly,
Yeah.
work-life balance.
Now, how many executives do you have?
Well, right now we're thinking we would have our 5 partners
Okay.
would be joining, and then we'd also like to talk about some sort of signage.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell me what kind of square footage options? Do you just have the 14,000 square feet every floor?
Yes, that's correct. Every
Okay.
floor is the 14,000 feet. So, what we would be able to do would be to start with one floor, but we could put you in an area of the building where there would be the possibility to expand, because I'm assuming if you choose to expand, you would ideally like to expand to a
Yes.
similar floor close to yours so you could connect the two.
Exactly. So we've been looking, at other places that have 25,000 square feet and things like that. And while I think our biggest concern is that while right now we feel that SkyNeedle for us is great, as you said, size-wise, yes, we technically don't need the extra 2,000 square feet, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not such a grand commitment. We are really worried about, continuing, and we don't we don't want a situation where our clients would have to be in the elevator going to 3 different floors in various parts of the building, trying to get to us.
And this is where you're lucky that you're coming in at the perfect time because of the fact that the building is not full yet. We would not only be able to offer you the space that you need right now and not the space that you want in the future. And this is, this is why it's wonderful that we're catering to these mid-size, high-level firms like yours, is that we can offer you the space that you need, but also the option to expand right now while we still have that availability. Do you know what your timeline would be for wanting another floor?
So we anticipate that we'll probably need another half floor within the next 4 years. So we were wondering if we could talk to you about the possibility, of doing a half floor. And of course, because we're an advertising agency, we would be willing to help you find, a small business that's even maybe smaller than ours that could split that second event when we needed that second floor, that would be willing to split that second half of the floor with us, or another company that might be interested in something like that. Do you have any other companies in the building that need, a half floor's worth of space or anything that that may in the future want? Maybe you can kind of sandwich the extra floor in between our 2 companies.
I don't have a current company that is specifically looking for that. But do you have any suppliers, people you work with very closely, who you think would want to maybe take on this other half floor? What maybe we could do is come to, regarding bringing on another floor, we could plan it out with your timeline in mind, do some temporary rental in the meantime, knowing that it will be temporary.
Right.
With, a visiting company, that kind of thing that
Right.
needs the office space, For example, these darn lawyers,
Of course.
they keep coming in and they have
in.
these crazy international trials, and then they're set and they know they're going to be here for a year or 2, or, but they know that after that they wouldn't be. So, we may be able to find something, but what we might want to do is keep the floor entirely in the agency name with the allowance that it can be subletted to somebody else, and we could work together to get an additional tenant with both of our approvals on it. Of course, the building would have the final approval on that.
Of course, right.
But we would be willing to do that for you. If you'd be willing to help us place the tenant, contingent upon that. We must find the tenant, otherwise you'd be responsible for the payment.
I think that we would definitely be able to work something out. I mean, this is a very popular building. A lot of, I think, smaller businesses would jump at the opportunity to, maybe if they can't afford to lease an entire floor, to lease half of the floor. And I think it would be a great way for them to get a start in this building, potentially even lease more floors as they expand.
Well,
which
certainly.
would be great.
And
yeah.
you're an advertising agency, so we may have some crossover in our needs and wants in that sense as well, because we're going to be able to help you with this building space, but you may be able to help us, connect with some key luxury clients as well.
And we would love to do that. So should we talk about
maybe we need to get down to business as far as what we're going to charge on the rent. Right now we're looking at about $25 per square foot.
25 a square foot, okay.
And then, we're willing to do, pretty standard $3 per square foot build-out allowance. We want the building, to reflect your true character. And, certainly, that contribution will go to the construction and furnishing of your specific office space.
Right. We're actually, with the build-out allowance, if you can, we are not as much in need of that right now. Our old firm, we're actually able to take a lot of furniture and equipment, so we could, if you would feel comfortable with this, we could take that down to $1 and have it be more of a, emergency kind of build-out situation, because right now we're pretty happy with what we have. We have wall dividers and things like that. Maybe we'll need you to put in some walls for a conference room eventually once we kind of get settled, but otherwise I think we'd be pretty happy. Just with a $1 per square foot building allowance.
So we could definitely make some allowances in the rent if we're able to bring down that build-out allowance, because obviously it does save us money as well.
Right.
So what would your counter offer be for to change from 25? Were you thinking maybe more like 24 per square foot?
So right now we're actually wondering, and for us, our price we would be willing to be a little more flexible if we could ask for a 1 year rent abatement. As you know, the economy's still recovering. We're having some trouble getting our clients to pay their bills, as everyone is, unfortunately. And we think that, within the next year, it's not going to be a problem, but right now that's really causing a lot of problems with our cash flow. So we would be willing to, offer you some advertising services, things like that. We definitely attempt to be model tenants during that year, of course, as we would.
And having met you, I know that you would be. Rent abatement is not something that we would be able to consider at this particular time. But where we could be flexible is on the cost of the rent. If what we could do is perhaps, we're looking at having a long-term relationship already. We can tell that you're going to be a great tenant for us and that we have long-term common business interests. So, if you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. That can work out. We do need a certain amount of cash flow coming in also, since we're still filling the building, just because of the financing and that sort of thing, and tax purposes. All those financial details don't make it possible for us at this time to do something like a rent abatement. It's just not possible. We've spoken with bankers and so forth. But what we could do is we could start at a lower rent and then escalate based on the number of years of the lease, so that we could start lower and escalate a little bit higher. Where would you be able, would you be able to do $20 per square foot, let's say?
I think we could come down, probably have to be a little below 20, somewhere between maybe 17, I think is something, knowing that we'd be taking I think we're up to about 21,000 square feet now. I'm sorry.
Well, but what we could do, though, is, didn't you say that what you would want is initially only the one floor?
Yes.
So that it would only be the 14,000 square feet, and then after what period of time was it? I'll just note it down.
4 years.
So after 4 years, you would want to get another half floor.
Right.
So we add on the 4 years, and then you want to just take on probably the half floor, unless you decide you want the whole floor. And we'll do that little contingency period that we talked about. And so you did mention before that you were interested in the Eye of the Needle Club. So maybe we could build that into the deal. You said, give me your number again.
I said 17.
You said 17. So maybe what we could do, if we could do 18.
If we could do 18, but build in the five
executives.
For maybe like when we do the initiation and the first 2 years of membership fees, because the 5 executives.
Well, so basically what it would, the actual cost, it is fairly significant. There is a $5,000 initiation fee,
right?
And then it's $2,500. So for 5 executives, you're looking at another $12,500. So if you take the 12,500, we're looking at almost $18,000 in savings. So I could definitely waive the initiation fee, the $5,000. This can be something that we do instead of. As far as the 12,500, maybe what we could do is that could be, because we would love to get some referrals and try and connect with some high-end agency clients. This will reflect well on both of us. Perhaps you could give us the 12,500 in agency credit towards some work that we could do together for advertising.
Or we could even do an agreement that for every, a lot of these residential places in Chicago have the tenant referral fee. Maybe we can say that every time we refer a new tenant or a new member of the SkyNeedle Club, maybe we get a, $1,000 off an annual membership fee for one of our executives. So, if we refer however many people to you. then it'll just kind of work out. And you can use the agency credit, and we'll kind of balance it with a referral.
We
That
could
sort
do.
of thing.
I would be happy with both of those things. I think we could
Okay.
do them both. We could do the if you're willing to do the 12.5,
Okay.
and that way it winds up being free to you for
Right.
all your executives. And then in addition, we'll give you the $1,000 off your SkyNeedle.
Rent. Should we
Yeah,
just
for
do
the
rent
future.
instead of, as in like rent credits to the next year, like to accrue the next year?
Well, let's also discuss. Let's maybe go through all the
Okay.
different benefits, and then we can see what the cost will be.
Let's do
Because
that.
I also wanted to know if you were interested in signing up for any. Oh, there we go. Yes, making sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I thought I heard the
No.
phone.
Yeah.
Don't want to get interrupted.
Of course.
So were you interested in also building in parking?
I think we really only need about 3 parking spaces. We're not very concerned with having tons of parking, but it would be nice to have an option. Do you have some sort of like flexible, or is it pretty set? That I think you say $2,400 a year. That's
Right. It's $2,400, and then per spot.
Okay.
And then I don't know if it makes a difference. So that would be like 6,000 plus 1,200. So we're looking at a $7,200
For those 3
for
spots.
this 3 spots. So right now, just to recap where we are, we're looking at $18 per square foot.
Okay.
We're looking at $7,200 for the parking, and then we're looking at the.
I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna check with my secretary here.
Of course.
We've got a. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
of
Continue
course.
your recap. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got $18 per square foot.
Okay.
As far as the floor, and I think we're in total agreement about
Yes.
how we're going to structure that part of our deal. $7,200 would be the parking fee, and then $5,000 we've already agreed. That's going to be our little kickback, a
Okay.
little special gift
Perfect.
to you. We're going to waive that for, let's say, the first. Are we looking at a 5-year lease at this point? With
We could go longer. At that rate, we're very comfortable. I mean, we could do, and if you're willing to do that if we do the half floor eventually, we could do a 15. We're very comfortable. 15 at that rate would be great. We really like the long-term option.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we definitely want to build you in with a longer term. We're really excited about the opportunity to work with you on this. We are going to need to build in some escalations as far as the rent further down the line. The property values are just going to be going up.
Do you want to do like $1 a square foot every 5 years?
I think that
Something
$1
like
would
that.
be a little low. Would you be able to do more like $4?
What if we did like $2.50 square
Um,
foot every?
What if
couple of years?
we make it $3.25?
Would you like to do how about 3, just so we're a round number?
All right.
Okay, let's do 3 every 5 years.
I would be happy
That's
for 3.
perfect.
We'll do the 15 years. And then the only thing left for us to talk about is how we're going to structure the kickbacks and the fees as far as the parking and the SkyNeedle Club.
Okay.
So I know, it sounded like you were on board with, we use the $2,500 as credit with the agency, which
Right.
would be an ongoing deal between us. And then in addition, the kickback of $1,000 for every referral you bring to us. We're very happy with that as well. As far as the parking fee, do you want to make that part of the same credit, and we'll just start using you exclusively for the agency, or what were you thinking with regard to the parking?
I mean,
Or do you
if
just want to pay the fee?
If we could bring it down to 6,000, I think we would be willing just to pay the fee.
Okay.
But if you felt more comfortable doing something like $6,500 in credits, we would be all right with that as well. We feel very confident that we'll be able to bring clients to you and clients to promote our business, and that's even great for us if our clients are in the same building. So I think that would work really well for both of us that way. If we're bringing you exclusive people and they're excited about the building and we're excited about working with them, location, it would be really convenient for us. So if that's whatever, I'll leave that decision up to you. Either way, we'd be comfortable. We can pay the $6,000, or if you want to do $6,500 in credit, that's completely up to you.
Well, why don't we, as a trial period, we'll just, with your cash flow situation, I completely understand it. Why don't we do the $6,000 for the first 5 years?
5 years, perfect.
And then upon, the agreed upon terms of renewal, which would just be contingent on, everything working out as we truly expect it to.
Of course.
And then, we can decide after that 5-year period whether we want to continue at that rate, or, if we're using a lot of services in the service we're building, that'll give us the option to build in additional agency services. Would that work for you?
Perfect. And then I think our last thing that we want to cover is just that signage really quickly in the lobby. Of course. So is that something that maybe we could, do you have any clients that, we could even say we'll design, 2 free logos for any of the companies in your building in exchange for a free sign for us in your lobby?
So let me just clarify what it is that you're offering. So in exchange for us giving you the sign in the lobby,
yes,
which I'll be completely honest, it's normally reserved for larger clients who take up 4 or 5 floors.
Mm-hmm.
But if we give you your name in large letters, you would be willing to design for the rest of the building?
I think maybe let's keep, because I think probably for the rest of the building that's too many people to have signs for, so we could say whoever, we'll say like
the next 10 clients?
I don't know, do you have enough floors for that? You have 75 and you're halfway floor. What if we did like 5, and we'll do logos for them. You can use as an incentive to get that into your building, and then that's also great for us because they're potential clients then if they like the work that we do. Would that be good? Whatever your limit is usually for your signs, your next couple of clients that fill up that 4 or 5 floor.
Do you think we could do 7, lucky 7?
Let's do lucky 7.
All right,
sounds perfect.
Lucky
because that's
7.
Perfect.
And we're going to get your name in big letters.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
It was very nice, and I think we should draft this and get it together.
Let's draft it together.
Let's
get it on paper right now.
Save some billable hours for both of us reviewing it. Let's go line by line. It was very nice.
It was so nice negotiating with you today as well.